Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaefer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you. Welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaefer. Hi. I am so grateful that you are here with me today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and just know that I am sending you tons of love and abundance and success your way. I am feeling really good today. I actually just came back from Dallas, Texas on Saturday night, and I am feeling so lit up about everything in my life right now, especially my career. I had such a great time. So one of my podcast listeners, she flew me out to Dallas so that I could come speak to her community of beauty professionals. And I chatted all about the 3 M's to make millions. I dove into mindset, manifestation, and of course, marketing, all 3 of really big passions for me. And it was such an incredible trip. First, just being in full Sav mode was super duper nice. Being able to do whatever the hell I wanted to all on my own. I journaled like 15 pages this weekend. I was doing so much processing and really just like upgrading my entire belief system, my nervous system. I did tons of breath work and meditations, and then of course poured into all of these amazing women that showed up. If you guys want to watch the live, it is on my Instagram. I'm wearing this like cute, gorgeous pink silk PJ set. I was such a vibe that night. Like I loved how everything came out. I got the best photos and videos. I'm just really excited to share all of the moments with you guys. You can go ahead and take a listen on my Instagram. But today's episode, I am really excited to chat with you guys all about consistency, discipline, and balance. These 3 things are super duper important in my daily life and my weekly life and my months, everything. I'm super duper on top of these few things, and I feel like that is the reason why I am so happy and fulfilled and have so much energy on a daily basis. One of my clients, the girl who I was actually with this weekend who flew me out to Dallas, she asked me like, what keeps me feeling so amazing? And when I really took some time to think about it, I think it really does come down to these few things: consistency, discipline, and balance. So first and foremost, let's dive into consistency. Consistency has been something that I have been really intentional about working on for so many years. And I feel like this is something that I've recognized just how beneficial it is when you are consistent with something, that like it's so worth it to develop that habit. And it comes down to the smallest and the biggest of things. Like on the small scale, making my bed every single morning. Like that is one tiny thing that I do that's just a little win in my day. Every single morning I make my bed, and then of course every single night I come home to a made bed. That was one of the first things that I ever started being disciplined or consistent with, because I had heard it in like a podcast years and years ago, and I realized that it is just one way to start your day with a tiny itty bitty win. Something else that's super small, but I feel like a lot of us don't prioritize it enough, is like drinking enough water. I am a water fiend. I grew up not really like being in a household that encouraged us to drink water whatsoever, but I've really taken it upon myself to do that. And I genuinely feel like when I am hydrated, like my body just operates so much better, and that is scientifically proven. But I just challenge you, if you like get in an extra 40 ounces every single day on top of whatever that you have, I am telling you right now, you are going to notice like your brain literally works better. Your body literally works better. So that is something small that I also prioritize. Journaling and reading a good book, those are 2 things that I'm also very intentional about. I am always journaling. I've journaled for my entire life. This is like the basis of my growth. Like everything for me comes down to journaling. I should probably make an entire podcast about journaling, because journaling truly is like a foundation of who I am. And I have been journaling ever since I was a little girl. Like I remember being probably six years old, journaling about my friends in elementary school and what I was up to and what my favorite color was and who my best friends were at the time and whatever. And I've literally kept a journal for the last 20 years. So, wow, that's so cool to even think about. I've kept a journal for the last 20 years of my life. And the way that it has allowed me to just get so much more connected with myself and build such a high level of awareness of every single aspect in my life, it has been truly amazing. And I have put like hundreds of people onto journaling. I've had so many people come to me saying, Savannah, like I started journaling because of you and my entire life has shifted. Like I'm so much more aware of myself now. Like I truly know why I do things and I feel so much more connected, and it really does like change so much. There's so much science behind journaling. Like truly, like I said, it's the foundation of who I am. So I'm constantly journaling at least multiple times a week. And then when it comes to reading a good book, reading has been something that I've kind of ebbed and flowed with, okay? And I feel like finally I'm at like a really consistent place with it, but for years and years and years of my life, I was not in that place. So whenever I was growing up in school, like I was the girl who was reading either the Cliff Notes online or cheating on the person next to me in my reading assessments. I was not somebody who read what my teachers told me to read, like Shakespeare, none of that stuff. I was not going to read those damn books. I didn't care about the books, and I really just thought that I didn't like reading altogether. But what I realized is that I didn't not like reading. I just didn't like what I was reading back then. Then once I discovered self-development and like personal development books and self-help quote unquote books, that is when I actually started to fall in love with reading and realize that like there's such a different way that I can program my mind. I remember in my sophomore, junior year of high school, one of my teachers told us that we needed to read like a self-development or a self-help book. And I started reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. That was my first book, my first intro into personal development. And then I don't even think that I ended up finishing that book because I was just like that. Like I never really finished books. And then I ended up coming back to it once I got into my first business in 2019. And I started to read that book and started to realize, oh my gosh, there's so much good things in here. Then I read her next book, which is You Are a Badass at Making Money. And that was really, really good. And then I just started to kind of branch out and do all different kinds of things. So now I'm reading on a weekly basis. I'm not reading on a daily basis because sometimes like my days are just a little bit all over the place, but on at least a weekly basis, I'm picking up a book. I'm reading it while I'm in the sauna or before I go to bed. I've told you guys before, like I don't like to scroll on my phone at all before I go to bed. So instead I will just read my books, and it's been so amazing for me. Like I love doing that. Even Ty and I are like in the middle of prioritizing reading more even in our relationship, because on the nights that he's home, sometimes we just want to like kick our feet up and just relax and like listen to music or watch something. But we're really starting to prioritize reading even more right now because we're both really in this like growth era of our life. So reading has been something that I've been a lot more consistent with, and it makes me feel amazing. Like taking in information on a book versus on your phone, it's just a different experience, and I really truly love it. Seeing my family is also something that I do to make me feel good, but it's something that I do on a consistent basis. I always see my family every single week, and spending time with them honestly just makes me feel really, really grounded. And I love being around my siblings and my parents and actually having like in-depth conversations about where they're at in their lives and connecting with them. So love hanging out with my family. I'm very consistent with that as well. I'm also consistent with my workout routines. You guys have seen this for years and years now. I have been consistent with my workout routines. I got into fitness back in 2017, I'd say. I started doing Pilates at True Fusion in 2017, 2018. And then by 2019, I was also working out a little bit from home and then doing a little bit of True Fusion. And then by 2020, during the pandemic, that is when I paused my membership with True Fusion and I started working out at home. And I actually really enjoyed doing home workouts. I also ended up like running a mile every single day of the pandemic as well, because I just wanted to challenge myself. Like I'm somebody who I want to be better. I always want to be better. I always want to improve upon myself. I just want to continuously be a better version of myself. And so I started doing like running all the time back then. And then back in 2021 was when I first started lifting weights. And before I started lifting weights, I was very skeptical about starting because I didn't want to get like bulky. I didn't want to get manly. Like that was my biggest concern, is I was like, I do not want to look manly. And I will say that like lifting has literally changed my body in the best way. Like, I am so thankful I decided to just actually give it a try and like see what it did for my body, because I love the way that my body looks right now. This is the most confident I have ever been. I'm being just as consistent as I've been in the past with working out, but my workouts have just continued to evolve and really make me feel my absolute best. I've been prioritizing like specific body parts and I just feel amazing. So I'm very, very consistent with moving my body. And I do that because it actually makes me feel good. Not only does it make me more confident, but it also gives me such a great rush of good feeling hormones that I'm addicted to that now. Like, I'm addicted to feeling good, and that's a great addiction to have. I also just like love to go for walks. I'm always out in nature. I'm always meditating. That is something that I'm really, really consistent with as well. And of course, I'm also very consistent with taking time off of social media. I've talked to you guys about this so many different times. I take every single weekend off of social media, and doing that has helped my mental health so freaking much, especially being a business owner. But even if I wasn't a business owner, I would also do this too, because we have no idea how much social media actually impacts us. And I've also set timers on my social media apps as well, and it has really truly made such a big difference in my life. Like, I could not see myself living my life any other differently than I am right now because of how great I feel, and I'm not getting stuck in that mode of comparison nearly as much. I used to be constantly scrolling through social media, seeing everyone else's accomplishments, everything else that everyone is doing, and since actually creating these boundaries with social media, I actually feel like what I'm doing is actually enough, and I'm living in the real fucking world, and I have more time for my family, I have more time for myself, I have more time to just simply do things that support me, and that feels amazing. Now, with this conversation of consistency, discipline also comes in. Discipline is something that I feel like every single person would benefit from. Having discipline in your life literally makes such a big difference in just how you're feeling, because you're actually keeping the promises that you make to yourself, and discipline will save you on the days that your excuses are trying to take you down. It comes through for me every single time that I don't want to do something that I know is good for me. There's always that voice inside my head of like, oh, you should just take off today. Like, you look great, Savannah, just take off the gym. Of course, I have those voices in my head that are giving me excuses of what I should do versus what I actually should do. The way that I've built my discipline, it has completely outweighed those excuses and has really made me show up for myself in such an intentional way that I think it helps more than absolutely anything. Discipline is incredible. I have discipline in so many different areas of my life, like when it comes to working out, when it comes to waking up at a specific time. You guys know all of the different areas that I prioritize discipline. Like I said, I have the exact same thoughts that you guys do. Like, I have the same thoughts of like, I don't want to go do that right now. Do I really want to go fold laundry right now? Absolutely not. But I'm saving my future self by deciding to do it now versus later when like I'm about to go to sleep and I know I really won't want to do it, and then I'm going to push it off to the next day. I'm not someone who's constantly like, oh, I want to do everything that I need to do. Of course, I have my moments, 100%. Do I want to have the banana bread because it's sitting in front of my face? Absolutely. But am I going to do it? No, because it's 8 p.m. and I know that if I eat that, I'm not going to feel my best when I go to sleep. I know that I'm not going to get the best sleep quality, and I know that in the morning I'm going to be living with regret. So do I do it? Absolutely not. This weekend is a perfect example. So Saturday night I got home really, really late, and Sunday I woke up and I was like, damn, this is usually the day that I typically will clean the entire house. And I decided to set a timer for 30 minutes. I got all of our bathrooms cleaned. I cleaned up our bedroom. I put in some loads of laundry. I cleaned our kitchen. I did everything that I needed to within 30 minutes. And I did that because I knew that I didn't want to add more to my to-do list for the next week, nor did I want to sit there throughout the entire week and be like, oh my gosh, I really need to clean that. Oh my gosh, I really need to clean that, knowing that I couldn't get to it till next weekend anyways. So this is like what I'm always doing. I'm always setting myself up for success. I am always thinking of my future self, especially when it comes to discipline. Discipline comes through because I'm actually thinking of my future self and how I will feel in the future, not in the present moment. And in the present moment, like I said, I do not want to do a lot of the things that I do, but I decide to do it anyways because I know that I'm saving my future self. Then I'm able to actually go relax because I have the freedom to do so. And I'm not sitting there thinking about all the things that I need to do. I'm literally always looking out for myself. Every single moment of every single day, we are presented with decisions. And those decisions that you make are going to dictate how you feel. We actually have so much more control than we think, but a lot of times we just decide not to do the things that we know we need to because we want to feel that temporary feeling of relief or happiness within that moment. We are making decisions based on how we feel. We allow our emotions to dictate what we do instead of us actually taking control and deciding what we are going to do so that we can control our emotions in the future. Because if you choose to do the things that you have promised yourself that you are going to do or that you know you need to, then you're going to actually feel good in the future. So again, we have that control, but a lot of times we're just not using it to our advantage. Start actually looking out for yourself. Look out for how you're going to feel in the future, and you're going to notice your entire world starts to shift. If you can just start to slow down and think through what your next move is before you make your decision, you will make a decision that is actually in alignment with you feeling your best. The next time that you go to say yes to your friends for hanging out super late on the weekends or spending time with family members that you feel obligated to spend time with and you truly don't want to, the next time that you get presented with the excuses in your mind of not going to the gym when you know that you need to, or deciding to eat the last piece of cake when you know that you shouldn't, take a moment to actually think through how you're going to feel after that action and then make a decision from that standpoint. Last but not least, I feel like the reason that my life feels so good is because I have a lot of balance. I've mentioned all these different aspects of my life. I've talked about my health, I've talked about my family life, my social life, my mindset, my work. I try to stay balanced in all areas. I make time in my schedule for every single aspect of my life, and that makes me feel balanced. Therefore, I'm not going to be getting as burnt out and I'm not going to be feeling as overwhelmed because I know that I'm always doing something to fill my cup. Because I'm so consistent and disciplined in all these areas of life, I get to show up as my best. And I constantly have energy to go do more things and help more people. Literally everything that I do is done with intention. I do everything for a specific reason. And I think through all of my decisions. This allows me to show up the best for myself and everyone around me. Consistency, discipline, and balance, those three things are going to give you such a better quality of life. I cannot wait to see how it impacts you. Let me know if you guys have absolutely any questions on any of the things that I've gone through throughout this podcast. I am so grateful that you guys are here. If you have specific things that you'd love to hear me talk about, I'm always here for you. I'd love to support you in whatever season of life that you're currently in. And I'm just so grateful for you. So thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon.